Welcome to the NUSA training tutorial on the user profile. The user profile is the page you're going to use to perform your administrative actions on your user IDs, such as resetting their password, activating or inactivating their ID, or changing their email address, phone number, or postal address. To get to the user profile page, you'd start on the user listing. In this case, we want to do administration on Wilbur Horsey's ID. Now, if it so happens that the ID is visible when you first view the user listing page, you can click anywhere on this row to display the user profile page. I'm going to show you another way. We're going to go up here back to user listing. That's where we first started. We could also search for the account in question, typing the last four letters of the last name. In this example, we find him. Still, click anywhere on that row, and the user profile page is displayed. Now, the top section of this page has a section called Administrative Controls. These are the two main administrative actions related to access. One is the active and inactive status. Currently, the dark orange shows the account is an active ID. If Wilbur left the Department of Insurance and therefore no longer needs access to iSight or MyNEIC, you would simply click the inactive to inactivate his ID. Notice you'll get a message, the user's active status was successfully changed. You close that, and now inactive is the dark orange. I'm going to reactivate Wilbur's ID, so I'm going to click active again. And again the confirmation message, and close. Now if Wilbur needed his password reset, all you need to do would be come over here to the right below where it says password reset and click to change. The spinner comes up and you get a message that a password reset email has been sent. You won't have to type the password yourself. What's going to happen behind the scenes is a password is going to be automatically generated. It's going to be sent by email directly to whatever email address is on the ID. Let's come down here and see what email address that is. whorsey@idaho.gov. So Wilbur is going to get an email now. He probably already has. The from address is going to come from noreply_security@neic.org. And it's going to be sent through NEIC's secure email system. So that's how you reset a password or activate or inactivate an ID. Now for additional information about the user's account, we're going to scroll down a little. Here's Wilbur's last name, a comma, and his first name. That's his login or username. The last modified date and time. The user type. We're going to talk about how to create state insurance regulator IDs, state contractor IDs, and another kind of ID in different tutorials. In this case, Wilbur is a contractor. And because Wilbur is a contractor, there's additional detail that displays right below contractor detail and contractor confidentiality that will display only for contractors. If this were a state regulator, and we'll show you an example in a moment, you wouldn't even see these sections. On the right side is the contact information. Let's talk about some of these conventions. You'll notice below the phone is the word empty. It's gray in text, whereas the email address is blue. Now, the word empty displays to tell you that there is no phone number, but the blue underlining tells you this is a field that you can modify. So for example, if you wanted to enter a phone number, you would click anywhere on this empty. You'd get a prompt to enter the phone number right up here, and you could enter the phone number, 208-443-6544. Click the check mark, wait just a moment, and you'll notice the phone number now displays. The email address is already in there, but that's where you would click to change it. And the postal address is in there. Now you notice that if you wanted to change the postal address, for example, the Idaho Department of Insurance, it's 700 West State Street, not 70. So if you made that typographical error when you first created the ID, you could come in here and just add the 0, and it's now 700. Click the check mark, and the address is updated. So that's the basic primary information on the left, the contact information, which is phone, email, and postal address. Now this information about contractors tells you the name of the company they work for, any company codes, if you entered them when you first created the ID. That would represent the companies that the contractor is going to be working on. The start and end dates of the contract. So for example, on May 30th, 2014, Wilbur will no longer have access to iSight or MyNEIC. Regardless of whether you inactivate the ID or not, the end date will indicate no longer has access. This is the text that you entered when you created the ID, the description of the nature of the contract, whether or not there's a confidentiality agreement that's been signed, and the contact information for the person who can verify that contract information. And again, this contractor information will display only for contractor IDs, not for state regulators. What will display for all IDs is the user access detail and the job information. User accesses are the tools to which the user has access. In this case, company demographics, complaints, exam tracking, iSight basic login, line reports, etc. You'll notice these are the actual names of the NEIC tools. So if somebody says, I need access to complaints data in iSight, you'll know it's called Complaints Database System. Over on the right is the job information, the person's title or position title, as some call it, and the department. Some states enter their own internal department numbers, some enter names, but this is a field you can use to track department information. And that department information is automatically displayed when you run reports of your users.